Hey, it's been a while. I've been trapped in the Underdark for the past few weeks and only just escaped. A word to the wise: when an unmarked white van pulls up to your address filled to the brim with cosplaying babes, and they all offer a collection of your favorite Pokemon as shinies in exchange for stepping on you in high heels, don't do it. But do call me and I'll head over to inspect just in case. If I get sent to the Underdark prison again, I still have my key from last time. But while I was down there, performing my non-consensual workout routine, slapping rocks with the homies, I saw the most depraved group of blind guys hootin' and hollerin' slurs I've never even heard before as they chased down an escapee. My bunkmates called them Grimlocks, so that's the topic of today's video. Do you like stories instead of the classic intro? Do you hate them? I simply have to know. Please flood my comments with information while I keep talking. Grimlocks are the definition of festering depravity, spawned by ages and ages of isolation and abuse. Where dozens and dozens of other races were simply spawned by gods, the result of genetic research, or oopsie-doopsie magic, Grimlocks are one of the rare cases where normal dudes just naturally got nasty over time, developing into stinky basement dwellers because that's what the basement demanded. Let me try to piece together a play-by-play, stripping off the laziness of 5th edition where they rely on mind flayers being the only thing that's ever gone bump below the night. The Underdark is deep and incredibly vast, and so are its inhabitants. So let's say day 1, a small roaming civilization we'll call the Grimlock tribe was forced underground by a bigger civilization and their big weapons. Real quick, I'm gonna educate you, so play with these wooden blocks while I inform you that the word barbarian was created by the Greeks to describe anyone who wasn't Greek, talked kinda weird, and had a smaller community. A nice little pejorative word, but we got nothing better than words like tribe. So, these uncivilized, brutish, idiot, barbarian scraps of whose undeveloped are too for their own stinking wandered around the Underdark in hopes that Darklands would be a safer place than being Greece's neighbor. As time wore on, they went blind, got bigger sniffers and sharper ears, increased their body heat in exchange for common decency and, hair, essentially becoming second-rate predators in the finger-long caves. But they are still people who had to compete with Apex natives already down in these caves. And since you probably are one, you know that humans are a dime a dozen compared to anything fantastical. So all the races of the Underdark, instead of taking them seriously, came together and decided to fuck with the Grimlocks. When they tried to plant mushroom fields, Drow would show up and burn them down. When they made water cisterns, Duergar would smack holes into them and drain them. When they wandered too far from their silly little settlements, aboleths and mind flayers and Drow would kidnap and enslave them. When they tried to tell jokes or sing songs, everyone held back laughter or any sort of response just to make the Grimlocks feel bad. They're like that one podcast guest that gets invited just so everyone else can dunk on them and look better. Because of this, obviously, they're a little xenophobic. I mean, if everything hates you, nothing goes your way, and life itself works against you, eventually you'll just say fuck it, lose your eyes, and start eating people. That's what I would do. I do like the minor lore note that says they follow long-forgotten traditions, albeit depraved variants, like eating the elderly while they're still alive. Let's choose to believe that the Grimlock tribe used to worship Grimlock, an ancient and most powerful Dinobot. What they do is essentially taking old, interesting, and functional practices like Atastupa and doing it for the wrong reasons. If you saw the Planet of the Apes reboot, you're familiar with the term apes together strong, going from a united front to more ape mean more strong. The 5e book makes it easier to hate and kill them, like with every monster, by saying they're just cultists dedicated to illithid gods that aren't even around anymore. I think they work great as cannon fodder for other denizens of the dark who can raid caravans or scour ancient ruins for artifacts without risking the identity or well-being of their masters. They're also incredibly weak, which means you can swarm parties with them, having them crawl around on the walls and stuff. They have echolocation if they need it, so instead of silently wandering behind you, they could also scream down the hall. Like in the movie The Descent, they can really be scary as fuck with their senses adapted for the dark where yours haven't. Unless you're playing, you know, any race in the whole game other than human. So I think they're great not as scary monsters, but as a depressing genetic offshoot that's best left as a pile of viscera on the floor, and not roaming around the Underdark being hateful while mind flayers spit on them and drow laugh at them. And that's honestly a solid design for a monster. That's all you need. Drop the cult thing. And while you're at it, drop a like. If you like the video, it's over now.